We also have a 5-4-3-1 here as well, no? But, Coach, I've always wondered what would happen if you had the chance to commentate on a Formula One race. I've always wondered what Ravi Shastri would sound like at the start of a Formula One Grand Prix. Crofty uses five lights and away we go. What would be your catchphrase?
It'll be just the pace of the race is such you'd be wound up. There's no question about that. And I know try and build up tosses in India and world over, in big games. But here you don't need any motivation whatsoever because just the noise at that time, with everyone revving up their engines, is enough to make you rev up and take off.
So would that be your line? It's time to take off. The British Grand Prix is good to go.
Absolutely. For me, it's very spontaneous. What happens on the spur of the moment, what comes to my head, that'll happen.
It's incredible. But, Coach, I really want to talk to you a lot more about what we've seen in the world of cricket as well before we get to Formula One. It's
Hmm.
interesting because you have started out a trend of Indian cricketers going to Formula One races. After you,
Hmm.
we've seen Shreyas Iyer and Yuvraj Singh both be seen at a race. Have you been giving them tips that this is the place to be at a weekend?
No, not really. I followed Formula One from very early. I mean, in the 80s, in my time, if I had a Sunday off, I would be in the pub. And, the race would kick off at 2 o'clock. And it was the era of Senna, Prost, Mansell, Niki Lauda. That was my generation. Then came Schumacher after that, but Coulthard was also there in that list. So 2 o'clock, all our gang would, you know, get together in the pub and watch the race. And Martin Brundle, you know, his voice, he's still around, and which is fabulous.
Wait, have you gotten a chance to meet him so far at the race? He must have
I
been here at the
haven't,
weekend,
but
right?
I haven't, but should be here. This is the British Grand Prix.
I mean, come on, that would be the perfect crossover. Your tosses, his grid walks. It's the best thing in the world, isn't it?
He's seasoned. He's been around for a long time and does a great job.
But, Coach, let's also talk about Indian cricket for a second because we have to, right? It's you, and you've seen such a big transformation of this team in the meantime. So many of the players who played under you were a part of that winning team that we saw in the USA and West Indies. And
Mm.
it must have gotten a tear out of your eye, right? Seeing that moment, seeing them lift a trophy. It's years of
Ab-
burden finally gone over.
Absolutely, because there's no question in my mind that at some stage this team was good enough to lift the World Cup. And I remember even when I finished, I told them, listen, tough luck. You lost, you didn't make it this time, but your time will come. You just got to be patient. I mean, you're too good a side not to win a World Cup. And the whole world knows it. It's not you, just you, but everyone. All other teams also know that this is a dangerous team. It can pick up the World Cup. And I'm glad it's happened at a time when a lot of them were finishing with white ball in
Yep.
T20 format, Rohit, Jaddu, Virat. And to get it at that time was fabulous. And I was very happy for Rahul as well, because, he was the right man to take over when I finished. He had never won a World Cup in his career. So then to be part of a team on his final day as coach of India to get that opportunity, fabulous.
How were you celebrating? We didn't see you at the parade in Mumbai. Were you traveling at that time?
No, I was in London because I called the end of the game, and then I flew to London just before the hurricane, hit there, and then I had some stuff to do here. I think parades I've been on in the with the '83 team. It's something I saw from a distance, and I just reminisce the past.
But I really want to talk about Jasprit Bumrah for a second. The way he clutched that match at the end. Does any Formula One driver remind you of Bumrah in that pressure situation at all? Anyone who
No,
can handle
it,
it as
it it
much?
it reminds you of all the greatest sportsmen. When it matters, the Zen master, ticks in. It reminds you of Jordan with 2 seconds to go, or he'll fire one in. They're going neck to neck. If it's Hamilton and Leclerc, you know, they'll go for each other. They'll try everything to go past one another. So it happens in sport. And the fun happens when the game goes down to the wire, and then you see international top class sportsmen raising the bar, and that's fun for me.
Which we are also going to see this weekend. McLaren versus Red Bull, a straight
Hmm.
fight against each other. Now, the
Hmm.
last time we were on the podcast, you were a big admirer of Max Verstappen and his ability, but you also
Hmm.
mentioned that you're a good friend of Mika Hakkinen, McLaren's world champion. Has he made you a Lando Norris fan so far?
Not really. No, but London Norris is very good. I met Oscar last time, and Oscar has done wonders this season. He's firing on all cylinders. He was anyway, you know, talked about as the emerging star and the young man from Australia. So he's done really well. But in these conditions, I think it'll be a challenging race. It should be fun with the rain coming down, the track's a little slippery, tires that are different. It should be fun.
Safe to say you're backing the Aussie for the win here?
Backing the I won't I like good racing, but the Australians, they compete, so let's be rest assured about that.
Well, speaking of young stars, right, we've got a young Indian rising star called Kushmeni also competing this
Yep,
weekend in
yep, he's
Formula 2.
number three at the
Yeah.
moment. His father sent me a message. I was to go down to the grid to meet him, but just the traffic reaching here. He was on the grid at 12:50. I was going to say hello to him, but I came in a little late, but I'll catch up with his dad or him later.
Isn't it
I
phenomenal
think
that
his brother, last time, I think his brother was racing, Arjun, right?
correct? Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
good
yeah,
good
yeah.
spot. You really do
Mhm.
follow the sport very well, huh? That's lovely.
Yep.
But it's
Mm.
phenomenal that we've got these young Indians everywhere, right? Sort of popping up and making their name in the sport. What does it feel for you to see someone like Kush up there at this level?
I think fabulous. I just saw him go through a couple of laps, and it's wet out there. It's raining. He's number three at the moment, and his car is flying. So it's great to see because this is it doesn't get bigger than this. It's F2. Next is F1. So for him to reach that level is fabulous, and good luck to him. Hope he does well today. I think he's might be on the fourth or fifth lap now, sixth lap.
Fingers crossed on that. But I have to
Hmm.
draw some parallels because now that we see Kush in Formula 2, it reminds me a lot of this young Indian side that are now playing in Zimbabwe and Sri Lanka. It's interesting because the big gods of the team, the greats, Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, and Jadeja as well, have passed on the baton to this younger generation who will now be
Hmm.
starting their journey in the next couple of
Hmm.
series. What do you
Hmm.
make of that? What do you make of this squad that's going there? And who are the players who you really have in mind for the next set of India's T20 journey?
I think all 11 of them. I think the talent pool and the bench strength is so good. It's just a matter of time before India starts getting on a run. The monkeys off the back. You won a World Cup after 13 years. I mean, you won the 50 over World Cup in 11, now 24, 13 years. Uh, and I think you will win a lot more in the next 15 years because the talent that's coming out is terrific. The IPL keeps producing stars, and there will be competition for places in time to come.
But it's lovely, right? Openers like Shubman Gill, Yashasvi Jaiswal, two of the best in the
There's
IPL,
a, there's
both
a
together.
pool of talent there, and you can't rest on your laurels. If you rest on your laurels, you take it easy. Someone else will take your spot. So there are plenty there. There are plenty out. I don't want even to start with one name because there are about 10 or 11 there, who could push each other.
That's the best part of it, isn't it? Like, and I'm so glad that you're now enjoying it, watching it from the background, because being there as a coach and then selecting those people, you must have
Hmm.
had a few gray hairs at that time, even though you are one of the chillest people out there.
No, but it takes its toll. I was there for 7 years, and I think 3 years and 2 years in COVID really, took the hell out of everybody. Not just the players, but the support staff, and just the travel became difficult. It was the toughest time in the game, since the Second World War, and it wasn't easy. But now that it's all over, it's all behind us. I think it's time for the youngsters to come to the fore.
Well, let's talk about your passion, Formula One. You're here to chill this weekend. You're here with the stake Sauber team, who's going to
Yeah.
become Audi next year. Your beloved
Yeah,
Audi.
fabulous.
What do you feel about them coming back?
It'll be a double whammy, isn't it? Yeah, next year would be 40 years of India winning that World Championship of Cricket and me winning that car. I call it India's car, the nation's car, and it'll be 40 years old on the 10th of March. So the timing could not be better. A real proper double whammy.
No, it'll be awesome to see you supporting Audi, and there's some saying that Carlos Sainz might end up going there. So that's a good
Well,
player to start out with.
yeah, I'm hearing a few little birds talking in that way. I'm happy for that. But, moment I get to know, actually, I'll let you know then.
But what's your weekend been like so far? What does Ravi Shastri actually do in a Formula One paddock? Who does he meet? What do you do on the entire weekend?
No, I just observe. You get all sorts, the hospitality, just to see the drivers, the team that goes behind, and you know, getting this whole setup in place. The engineers at the background, the guys in the pit. to change those tires in a split of a second, decisions to be made. It's not a sunny day today, it's raining, what sort of tires to use, when to come in for a pit stop. It's for me, it's fascinating,
Hmm.
where all these things have to be done in a split of a second. And you realize that even though it's an individual sport, it requires a lot of teamwork. Lot of teamwork goes behind the scenes to make actually someone get up there on the podium, which is fabulous.
It's a sport of cool heads, isn't it?
You need a cool head. Yes, the noise on the outside is loud enough. You need to have a bloody cool head if you have to, make the right decisions in a split of a second.
But on that, I generally want to understand the mindset and the psychology of great athletes at that level, which is something you've seen and experienced through your career, and so many people you've also coached with. And the
Hmm.
driver in mind for me, particularly at this stage, has to be Lewis Hamilton.
Hmm.
He's been a great. He's seen and done everything there is to do, but he's at
Hmm.
that stage of his career where a younger rival is actually coming in and beating him.
Hmm.
Now, what does that feel like? And then how do you get out of that scenario? And for all the players you must have seen in your time as well, it must be such a hard thing to go through, right?
Yeah, it is hard, but as a sportsman, you realize, you're not at the prime of your career. You are not what you were 10 years ago or 12 years ago. But deep down, you want to compete. Let me assure you, if he gets half an opportunity, he will want to compete. If things go well, he's in the zone. He's not going to let up that easily, because that desire to win will still be there. Since you have been a champion before, you don't become not thinking of being a champion that quickly. So,
Hmm.
as long as he's there, expect a fight.
And do you
And none
like
so more, none so more here. His track record here is fabulous. He'll have the support of the British crowd behind him, and probably he might just up the ante here.
and wouldn't it be crazy that Lewis Hamilton potentially gets a big result just the weekend after his teammate George Russell won the Austrian Grand Prix? Were you watching that one? That must have
Yeah,
been such a mad result.
yeah, and then you will have to change that word, old man. Huh? You'll
He's
say the
not an
old
old man.
youngster. Yeah.
The old youngster. Ah, see, now I like that about Lewis. I like that. But
Hmm.
with Lewis, with Max, you see these great athletes at the top of their game. With Verstappen now, he's finally facing competition. The last time we spoke, you said that it takes a lot for an athlete to get the best out of himself when there's no competition. Finally,
Hmm.
there is some with Lando Norris and McLaren. Does
Hmm.
that battle really excite you heading into this race?
Fabulous. You see the points table. They're ruling the top four. If you look at it, and it's going to be great fun, because all top class drivers. And for me, the challenge is who counters these conditions the best.
Hmm.
When it's dry, it's sunny. It's a level playing field for everyone. But here, as good a car as you may have, it's the skill of the driver that will come into play. In these conditions, which for me is fascinating.
Do you like what you see from Lando Norris so far?
Very good. He's hiding behind there quietly. He's very, very good. And of course, Leclerc is there. He won in Monaco. These are conditions he might like as well. And it's going to be fascinating. I'm looking for waiting for 3 o'clock when they take off here for the qualifying. Should be fun.
Last question, coach.
Yeah.
Overall, you've been to this race and also the Belgian Grand Prix. Which one would you rank as the best experience for any Formula One fan?
See, I've been to Abu Dhabi. I've been to Bahrain. I've been to Spa. I've been here, but I think this was built for Formula One. If you look at Silverstone, it's just coming in. It's built for Formula One. It's twice the size of Spa when it
Yeah.
comes to hospitality and the space used for it. Abu Dhabi has its own takeaways. Bahrain has its own takeaways, but this is the home. Many people believe this is the home of Formula One, and I can see even in pouring rain the number of people standing outside, queuing up, camping here, camping around around Silverstone is crazy to see. I took up the train this morning, just because I wanted to avoid the traffic, and even that train was full with all Formula One supporters, each one. And mind you, England play the Euro at 5 o'clock,
They
in the
do.
evening.
They
Yeah,
do.
they play the Euro as well. So it's going to be a sport crazy day. This
Oh, it
and
is.
there's Wimbledon going on. So
And hey, are you going to Wimbledon this time, if I may?
yeah, well, I was there 2 days ago. I saw Classic, a game worthy of a semi-final or a final. Berrettini versus Sinner. Fabulous.
Well, this
Mm.
is the best place to be, right, this weekend. And how
Especially
incredible.
Soumil, when you have sport in your blood, it's the best place to be.
It's the best place to be for people like us. Well, it'll be
Mm.
incredible to see the race on
Mm.
Sunday and also you watching it. But I'm just hoping someday we have a crossover and we see you in the Formula One comms box. That interview of yours at the Belgian Grand Prix at the start, that has gone
Oh,
viral.
Leclerc takes off. He's across the finishing line. It's one Ferrari. It's two McLaren. I'll stop there. Done.
No Red Bulls in the top three for you. Interesting, huh? Interesting. I see where your allegiances are.
Mm-mm. There you go.
Just kidding. Just kidding. But great to speak to you once again, Coach. Thank you for your time and thank you for
Pleasure.
coming on the Inside Line F1 podcast. If I may,
Pleasure.
can you just introduce yourself on the show again? Like, I'm Ravi Shastri and this is the Inside Line F1 podcast.
Okay, yeah, this is Ravi Shastri. This is a podcast going on Inside Line F1.
Thank you very much, sir. Enjoy the weekend.
Pleasure.
Thank
Go
you,
well.
sir. Enjoy
See you.
yourself. Bye.